What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Stocks to Watch. And for the last 2 days, I think the video that I came out with was to buy the dip, and that is exactly how the market has played out. 2 days back-to-back action. Bulls are back, but now it's time to be cautious. So yes, the markets fell. Yes, the markets rose, and I think if you've been following the channel, you knew about both the things before they happened. But now I think Nifty and Bank Nifty both are near their supply areas, and we have to understand that the markets are just trying to digest that the elections are over. PM Modi is again coming, although with a slightly lower than anticipated mandate. But the functioning of the government, the policies, the reforms will probably not take as bad as a hit that the markets initially thought. That means, yes, this correction was an overreaction, but at the same time, the valuations of all the stocks in India, entire Indian markets, are just too high for like a uncertain, unstable kind of a government. Because now for anything, any reform that the government has to come out for or come out with, they will have to get consensus with their alliance partners. And anything that goes wrong over there could probably risk that the BJP probably would not be able to form the government. Now, again, there are various ifs and buts and what will happen, what not will happen. But one thing is for sure, on 9th of June, PM Modi is taking oath once again as the Prime Minister. The markets have settled that. Markets have digested that fact. And now the markets know one thing, and that is there will be socio-economic development in the country. And that means pharma stocks, FMCG stocks. And we have been seeing alcohol stocks like United Breweries. We've seen UBL. We've seen, Tilak Nagar Industries. They've been doing well. We've seen FMCG names. We've seen IT stocks. We've seen pharma stocks do well. We've seen hospital stocks do well. That means the focus is now on defensives, and I think that will continue to dominate. In terms of financials, I think PSU banks will lead the entire rally in terms of banks, and I think Bank Nifty is probably expected to underperform a little bit as compared to Nifty. But in any ways, let's get started with the episode today, and I'll start off with Bank Nifty first. So Bank Nifty again, it recovered from the lows, and I think probably it has recovered about 3,300 points off the lows, which is a good thing. Now, if I go to the chart, what I can see is that there is a gap over here that is unfilled. Number one. Number two, I don't really think the prices will go that higher. All what I believe is this is the area of supply where Bank Nifty is probably either going to do this, go up, take all the liquidity and then come back, crashing down to this area. And then this area will decide whether we make a new high or whether we go back up, take supply, and then we continuously dump and even break the lows. Now, why do I think this is a very likely scenario? The reason is very simple. FIIs are going to take time to put their money in. And that means all the heavyweights, and especially Bank Nifty, is not going to get a lot of money flow. And that means that banks are probably not going to outperform as high as we probably thought. And another important thing that I feel could be a concern, a matter of concern, is that the markets have just pulled back, towards this area of liquidity where I feel a lot of sell orders are currently sitting into this area. Only when this area gets negated and we come fill this gap over here, I think that's the time bulls could probably think of being in charge. But as far as technicals are concerned, we have broken, this is the 4-hour time frame, we have broken these lows, we have swept away, we have grabbed liquidity, and right now what we are doing is we are trying to get into this zone which is full of supply. And I think this entire region, and this is a big region by the way, this is a 1,000-point range. Unless and until Bank Nifty is in this 1,000-point range and it does not exceed that, I am a firm believer that this is a very likely scenario. And the only place where I feel Bank Nifty is probably going to stop for like a good period of time is around 44,000-45,000 area. Now, don't call me a bear because I have long positions in the market, and that's a disclaimer. But I'm trying to objectively tell you what I feel is the most likely scenario. And that means on the index front, I am not bullish. I feel that there's going to be a correction once again. Now, since the last 2 days, people have been again very proactive. Oh, bulls are back. We're going to go long. I think that's stupid. I think this is not the place to aggressively go long. The markets still need to see what the cabinet will be. Remember, yes, the elections are over, but who's going to be which minister, who's going to come into the cabinet. That will depend and that will impact a lot of policy decisions which the government is going to make. And that means there is uncertainty still existing and hence I would not be aggressive long. That was Bank Nifty. When I talk about Nifty, I'll directly go to the 4-hour time frame and I'll just tell you that again the scenario is very, very similar. We are into this entire region of supply. I think there's going to be some reaction and I feel from tomorrow itself we can start seeing some bearishness. Now, after this single big fall that we have seen, the markets can recover and make an all-time high. I cannot neglect that, but I am going to be overly bullish on the markets once we cover this 400-500 point range comfortably in Nifty. And whenever I speak about Nifty, I always have to talk about Reliance, because without Reliance, Nifty is going nowhere. If I look at Reliance, Reliance has reacted from this area of supply. We've spoken about that, and Reliance has a long way to go. So unless and until Reliance comfortably climbs back up, I don't see anything of that sort happening. I rather see Reliance coming, sweeping these lows, coming deep into this area of liquidity. And then this is where Reliance will probably bounce back. And that's exactly when Nifty is going to make a comeback. That's my view. Apart from that, if I talk about stock-specific action, I think there are only a few stocks which look good to me. I think one of them is Kamdenu reacting from an order block. Another name is Ramco Systems. I think this is also pretty decent. So let me just, go over here. This is Ramco Systems reacting from an order block. Very, very good, displacement. I think I am going to be a person who's going to look to go long. The only thing is this stock hit an upper circuit of 5% yesterday. So I don't know if we'll get an entry or not. Hirect is another name which is, trading at a very, very good area, very, very attractive, another upper circuit name. But what's basically happening is I'm expecting this to go here, maybe contract a little bit and then move higher. So if you're looking for a positional play in a small cap name, Hind Rectifiers is something that you can explore. And only if it kind of comes out of the circuit. So that's another name that I'm going to be watching out for. Next up is Vardhaman Textiles, which is surprisingly making a new all-time high. I mean, new 52-week high, not an all-time high. When the markets have underperformed so badly, that means there is some action here as well. The next stock is going to be Jindal Poly Investments. I think this is a very good structure and the left side is pretty sorted. Very, very good stock in this weak market. I would be interested to play this. Fairchem Organics is another name which I feel is very, very nicely poised to bounce. 5-star is probably the favorite of the lot apart from Ramco, Hirect and Kamdenu, because the structure is set. The stock is, setting up very nice from the fundamental aspect. A lot of earnings upgrades. Everything is setting up. Volumes declining. This is what I call an A+ play. So if you really want to play this, I think the best way to play 5-star is just go long at the open. That's your stop around 5 or 6%. Don't be scared of a bigger stop because this stock can move faster than you can think. Again, a disclaimer, this is not a financial advice. I am a SEBI registered research analyst, but this stock is not an advice. This is only for you to understand my views. Next stock, another one which is very, very decent, which is Go Colors. Now, this is again, from the fashion space. Reacting from an area of demand. Almost it's basically basing out in this area for a long period of time. The earnings have been quite disappointing in the last 2 quarters, but still the base is nice. Volumes have dried up. I like this. It's a good to go stock. Next up is Astra Microwave. Now, defense has taken a hit because defense was Modi's signature sector, which created a lot of investor wealth. But at the moment, I just like the structure. But right now, I don't think really it has the potential to start moving, but I'll just keep it on radar. Next up, we've got Markson's Pharma, and this is again reacting from an area of demand. So that's going to be interesting to see how this one moves. Next one, we've got Cholamandalam Finance, which is making such a nice base. Again, it is showing signs of strength. If you look at this stock on the weekly time frame, I think there is a lot of potential in this base. Looks fantastic. Another one from a positional perspective, keep your stops over here. 10% stop, aim for a 40-50% move, 1:4, 1:5, 3 to 4 months of horizon. I think this could do well. Again, a disclaimer, not a financial advice. Prisma Johnson, now again, another company which is into construction. Very nice base into the weekly fair value gap. Looks interesting. Aster DM, another hospital stock which is coming out of sweeping liquidity. Could be an interesting one. Big gap to be filled. This gap is actually a dividend gap. If I adjust the stock price for dividends, that is exactly what is currently happening in the stock. the stock has essentially reacted from this area of demand, which I actually like. Apollo Hospitals is another name which I'm interested in, but disclaimer, I have a position in that stock. Another name is TI India, which is again forming a nice little base. I think this also could have potential. Now again, this is a market where you'll not have proper breakouts or proper base structures because of the brutal damage that the markets have done to themselves after the sell-off. But again, these are some names that I feel could be interesting. Godrej Industries is another name which could be interesting after this tight range action. ZFCV India could probably continue its nice move because we can see that this created a base after reacting from this area of demand. Again, a strong name which could outperform the market, but again, not something which is very, very A+. IIFL is a very risky play. It has swept the liquidity from the lows, grabbed liquidity from these areas of order blocks. But now the stock has earnings coming up, number one. Number two, the stock has the RBI ban on taking fresh gold, financing projects, and that has already hit the PAT, hit the margins. Not a fundamentally very strong stock that I would like to go in, but from a pure trade perspective, I think there is a lot of potential for this to fill its gap. So these are the names, these are the list of stocks that I'm going to be watching out for. Ramco is my favorite, 5-star, Go Colors, Cholamandalam Finance, and even Prism Johnson. I think these are very, very good names. Others are okayish. Nifty Bank Nifty, I feel probably 100, 200, 300 points each, and then they start falling. Don't take aggressive positions. At least don't have a lot of overnight positions until Friday, because a lot of things can change over the weekend on Saturday and Sunday, and only from Monday onwards, I'm going to start trading properly, aggressively, the way I used to. So thank you so much for watching this. Please do subscribe to the channel if you like this video. Drop in your comments, and I'll see you in the next episode. I wish you all the best. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care and good night.